Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we are solving EDEXCEL International IGCSE 921, Chemistry Paper 1C, Jan 2022, question number 5 to question number 7 in our part 2 video. So let's jump in. Question number 5. Complete the table to show the relative mass and relative charge of proton and neutron. So first of all, proton. Relative mass, we know it's 1, and relative charge of proton is +1. For neutron, the relative mass is 1. For neutron, the charge is 0. Magnesium has 3 isotopes. State the meaning of the term isotope. Guys, this is a very important question because this is going to repeat all the time in the question paper. When defining isotope or when writing the meaning of the term isotope, isotopes are the atoms of the same element with the same number of protons but a different number of neutrons. The symbol for an atom of one isotope of magnesium is given 2612. Here we can easily conclude that the number of protons is 12, the number of neutron is 26 minus 12, and the number of electron will be also equals to the number of protons, so it will be 12. The question says give the number of proton, neutrons, and electrons in one atom of this isotope. So number of protons 12, number of neutrons 26 minus 12 equals to 14. Number of electrons will be equal to the number of protons, so 12. Part 3. A sample of magnesium contains these percentage of 3 isotopes. So we have magnesium 24, 79%, magnesium 25, 10%, magnesium 26, 11%. Use this information to show that the relative atomic mass of magnesium is 24.32. So when doing relative atomic mass like this, we have to write AR of a magnesium, and then the procedure is we will take the magnesium, we'll take the isotope, for example 24, which is present in 79%, so we will multiply it by 79, and then we'll take 25 multiplied with 10, and then we'll take 26 multiplied with 11. Now the total percentage adds up to 100, so we will divide it by 100. Well, sometimes if it doesn't add up to 100, divide it by the number that it adds up with, meaning sometimes this percentage may not add up to 100, so you will divide it by the number that it adds up with. So then basically you will get the correct answer. 1 mole of magnesium has a mass of 24.32. There are 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 atoms in 1 mole. Calculate the mass in grams of 1 atom of magnesium. Give your answer to 4 significant figure. In a question like this, all we have to do, finding out the mass of 1 magnesium atom. So we'll just indicate that mass of 1 Mg atom, all right, equals to 24.32 divided by 6.02 into 10 to the power of 23. So the answer that we receive is 4.039 into 10 to the power of minus 23 grams. Part C. The equation for the reaction between magnesium and oxygen is given. Magnesium reacting with oxygen molecule to produce 2 magnesium oxide. Determine the maximum amount in moles of magnesium oxide that can be produced from 0.5 moles of magnesium and 0.2 moles of oxygen. Very good question. In this particular requirement, if we see 0.2 moles of oxygen would require double the quantity of the moles of oxygen because there is a 2:1 ratio. So 0.2 multiplied by 2, which will be equals to 0.4. So we can see that 0.5 mole of magnesium is in excess. Now the maximum mass of a maximum amount in moles of magnesium oxide that we will be able to receive would be 0.4, similar to that of the magnesium that has reacted, because oxygen is the limiting reagent. So just straightforward answer will be moles of MgO equals to 0.4. Question number 6. This question is about sodium oxide. The diagram shows the electronic configuration of atoms of sodium and oxygen. We can see sodium has 1 electron in the outer shell, whereas atoms of oxygen has 6 electrons in the outer shell. Describe the changes in the electronic configuration of the atom of sodium and oxygen to form the ions in sodium oxide. So basically, to form the ions in sodium oxide, the sodium atom will lose 1 electron. However, oxygen atom gains 2 electrons. So each sodium losing 1 electron must, there must be 2 sodium that will combine with 1 oxygen. Part B. Calculate the relative formula mass MR of sodium oxide using the information from the periodic table. So if we find out the MR of sodium oxide, Na2O, we're going to be using the periodic table that is given in the front, in the second page of this particular question paper. Sodium has a mass of 23. There are 2 sodiums, so 23 multiplied by 2, and then oxygen has a mass of 16. So total it adds up to 62. Part C. Explain why sodium oxide does not conduct electricity. We know that whenever we have an ionic compound in its solid structure, they're basically in a giant ionic structure, and electrons cannot flow through this ionic structure because there is no such thing as a free ions to carry the electricity, or there is no delocalized electron to carry the electricity. Part D. Give a test to show that sodium oxide contains sodium ions. So a test to show that sodium oxide contains sodium ions. We know that we can perform flame test to find out the cation. And because we want to prove for sodium ions, a presence of yellow color in the flame test will indicate the presence of sodium. When sodium oxide is heated, it reacts to form sodium metal and sodium peroxide, Na2O2. Complete the equation for this reaction. So sodium oxide, when it is heated, it turns into sodium metal, so sodium, and then there will be Na2O2, which will also be produced. Now to complete this equation, we need to balance it. So there are 2 oxygen on the right hand side, we can see. To balance that, we're going to put 2 before Na2O, and that makes 4 sodium, so we'll have to put a 2 in front of this sodium to balance it out. Question 7. This question is about soluble and insoluble compounds. A precipitate is an insoluble compound formed when solution of soluble compounds react together. Different solutions are mixed in separate test tubes: copper to sulfate solutions and calcium chloride solutions. Tube 2, magnesium nitrate and potassium sulfate solutions. Tube 3, sodium carbonate and copper to sulfate. All right. So now the question is, in which of the test tube will precipitate form? Well, if we add copper to sulfate with calcium chloride, then we are going to get calcium sulfate. All right, and copper to chloride. Copper to chloride is soluble, calcium sulfate is insoluble. So we will see a precipitate here. We'll see a precipitate over here. Magnesium nitrate when added to potassium sulfate, both of this salt, magnesium nitrate or magnesium sulfate or potassium nitrate, all of them are soluble. So there will be no PPT. When sodium carbonate will be added to copper to sulfate, copper to carbonate is insoluble, so there will be a precipitate. So 1 and 3, C will be the correct answer. B, a student mixes solution containing equal amounts in moles of silver nitrate and silver chloride. The equation for the reaction between silver nitrate and silver chloride of the solution is shown. State the color of the precipitate of silver chloride. Silver chloride forms a white precipitate. Guys, you need to memorize this information. Silver chloride color is white precipitate. Part 2. The student wants to obtain pure dry crystals of sodium nitrate. Crystals of sodium nitrate decompose at temperatures above 300 C. Describe a method that the student could use to obtain pure dry samples of sodium nitrate. So first of all, the student can filter the solution. Filtering the solution and then, heat the solution to basically evaporate most of the water. And once water is evaporated, we will leave it to cool and crystallize. And once it forms crystals, we can pour off the excess liquid and filter to obtain the crystals. And then we can leave it in an oven, overnight to dry it up. Give one advantage of mixing solutions equal amount in moles of silver nitrate and sodium chloride. So basically, when equal amount of silver nitrate and sodium chloride will be reacted, it will make sure that all silver nitrate and sodium chloride are fully reacted to make sure that the product only contains silver chloride and sodium nitrate, and also to ensure the highest possible yield. So we'll have to just write any one of the point. Guys, that's all for today's video. Thank you for joining this particular video. If you like the video, please give a like, and make a comment. Share the video with your friends and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.